Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, guys. Today I'm going to be uh, showing you guys my presentation on the Trinity. Okay, so last 2 weeks ago, I made a presentation on the Trinity on the channel, and I've been trying since then to like get my own channel going as well, so that I can what's it called uh, do this kind of thing live. Okay, so I'm going to be presenting this for you guys like I did on that channel. So this is about the Trinity and why, what is the critique, what do I have against it. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be going through, my argument and why I think it's important, and actually strong arguments. Okay, and if I have more I'll make others, but this is just the one I just present the first one and test out this platform. Okay, I'm using to present this. So without further ado, let me go to the PPT and share it with you guys. So let's start. Okay, so this is African Dawa Revival. Welcome, guys. On this channel, we discuss about Islam and presenting Islam in the true sense to the best of our ability. So may Allah make it easy for us. May Allah guide us. Okay. So now, discussing the doctrine of the Trinity, and this doctrine of the Trinity is something that majority of the Christians believe in, and unfortunately, a lot of them don't actually understand what it means. Okay, they just know the standard terms they're supposed to say, what they're supposed to say, and what they're not supposed to say. They don't actually know the entailments of it. So just going through their own sources, and you read some of their, what are the people that were formulating this, because it's actually formulated. What were they thinking about while they were formulating this idea, and what was it all about? Okay, so that's what we'll be discussing today, and the interpretation. You see, at the end of the day, we need to understand what we believe. What do we believe? What is the meaning of such a thing? What does it mean to believe this? Okay, so it's very important to know that. Okay, at least now, before we start, sorry, let me do something. Must it be like full screen? Can't I like see myself? Okay, anyway, no problem. Let's just continue. I just want to make sure like people actually can see me. Okay, let me check it on there before we start. Sorry, let me check it from here. I'll be right back, guys. Just wait a moment. I want to make sure that I'm here live and I can see myself. Then I'll go forward and present it to you guys. And by the way, I'm here to teach also, to teach you. If you're interested in Dawa, I will teach you like the way you can actually, it's easy, okay? Not, you don't need to cram all the Bible verses, okay? All you need to do is understand Islam. If you understand Islam, you can do Dawa, okay? If you understand Islam, you can then do Dawa. First, the most important thing is understanding what is Islam, okay? Know your Akida, know your everything you need to know about Islam, okay? Then you can go on further and start defending it. If you just go and start cramming Bible verses, okay, you don't know anything about the religion and you want to go and defend the religion, it's not going to be a good way to do that. So let me just, okay, I'm going to see if you're live. Okay, I'm live. Okay, good. So let's start. Now, the doctrine of the Trinity. So first, like we are not here to fight anybody. We are Abrahamic faith. So the main thing that unites us is that we all believe in Abraham. Okay, we believe in Abraham, Moses, Noah. We Muslims we believe in this also. And you have the Jews and you have the Christians, and you have the Muslims, you have the Jews and the Christians. So we believe that's why they call us Abrahamic faith. So let's calm down. Just calm down. Okay, calm down and be happy. And then we can have a discussion. Okay, because then we agree on some things. Okay, for example, if I'm debating, if I'm talking with an atheist, it's going to be a different discussion. If I'm discussing with someone that believes in God, but he believes in many gods, that's going to be another discussion. But when we're talking about the Abrahamic God, okay, that is another discussion. We need to narrow it down to what we actually know that is common between us. Okay, so that's the whole point of this. Now, what is the main issue? The main issue here is monotheism. Okay, that is the main issue. Remember this. If you want to go and present about you want to do that with Christians, call them to Tawheed, okay? Monotheism. This is Tawheed right here. That is the main issue. Well understood. What is monotheism? That is the whole point. If any one of them is not monotheistic anymore, They have left the fold. Okay, that is the criteria. Monotheism is the criteria. Now, when I'm talking about reason and emotion, okay, because I understand that a lot of people, when it comes to like religious stuff, they get too emotional and they stop using their brain. They just believe it, whatever they say. Okay, you need to start using your brain. Both Muslims and Christians, you need to know why. Why do I believe such a thing? It's very important to know why. You don't just believe something because they said you should believe it. You should find yourself, use your God-given brain to find out why is it like this. Okay, so reason versus emotion. You see, if it was just about emotion, everybody will believe whatever they believe in. So let's say I was born an Hindu, okay? So if I'm using my emotion, I will remain an Hindu. It doesn't matter if I hear the truth or not. I'll believe in whatever it is I'm following because that's what I know. That is what I'm emotionally attached to. So if everyone was to follow their emotion, then what is the whole point of talking to anybody? Okay, everyone will just follow what they think they are inclined to, and then they'll follow it. However, reason is the one that breaks the deadlock. The reason is the one that says, "Okay, let's come and talk. What is this? What is this?" And then we get to the facts. Also, mystery and contradiction. What does that mean? Okay, because when we start talking about some things, people will appeal to mystery. Okay, now mystery can mean two things. Mystery can be something amazing. Okay, it's so amazing. Wow, or something that is mysterious that we cannot comprehend it. Okay, that is another way of mystery. Then there's contradiction. A contradiction is something that I see. It is contradictory. It does not. It's not possible. Okay, it's impossible. It's not because it's a mystery. It's just impossible. Okay, at least it's a contradiction. You need to affirm that it's a contradiction. Okay, then you can now see where your mystery can take you. But mystery and contradiction, they are not the same. Okay, because mystery is something that is plausible. Okay, it's just that we cannot see it now. It's plausible. Contradiction, on the other hand, is not possible. For example, a married bachelor. A married bachelor is a contradiction. A squared circle is a contradiction. It's never going to be possible. Okay, so you need to understand that. For example, look at this picture I put here. I am not an egg. Okay, it's funny. Okay, but anyway, let's continue. So we are going to talk about the Trinity. I think this PPT I made it like real quick so that I'll just get through it. But even on that day, I was not able to go through all my arguments. But I'm just presenting it. See, these arguments I'm presenting for you guys, just understand them. It's so simple. And if you're someone that is serious in Islam, you understand some of these things. Okay. Now, this is the claim of the Christians. This is what they say. They believe in the Trinity. So what is the Trinity? They'll say you guys don't understand what is Trinity. So this is what they say is the Trinity. You have three persons. Okay, the three persons and one being. Okay, this is what they say: three persons and one being. Okay, so also in Greek, it's three hypostases and one ousia. So the being is ousia, the person is the hypostasis, is another way of saying it. Okay, so in contemporary times, you have people saying three who's and one what. They believe in three who's and one what. Okay, so now this is what people say, right? So this is what they say. So the whole point I'm trying to achieve here is this: I don't want you to look like someone that doesn't know what he's doing. Like when you're talking to them, they will always want to show that they are knowledgeable about these things. Like you are just someone that's ignorant. However, it shouldn't be the case because what they're actually talking about is not difficult. They will try to make it like, see, you just don't know what we are saying. This is what we are saying. Three persons and one being. Yeah, like what does that even mean? That's what we're going to go through today. Now, let's continue. So they also make this claim like, see, can three things like they think it's like something strange, you know? Can three things be one? Like how can three things be one? I want to show you like, see, three things being one is the easiest thing. It's the most common thing. It won't just be one in the same sense. Okay, there are many ways three things or many things can be one. Okay, so for example, I gave this example. If you are from Africa, so you know this, right? Wazobia. This is what I call functional oneness. Functional oneness is more about the quality of a thing. Okay, so we can call them one based on their quality. Okay, so for example, Wazobia. Wazobia is this is what means this is a tribe in Nigeria. There are three tribes, three major tribes in Nigeria that form Nigeria, right? So these three major tribes, this is one of their language, Wazobia. So these three guys, they form one word, one country. Okay, so does it mean they are not three? They are three in one sense, but they are one in another sense. They are three in the fact that there are three tribes over there. but they are one in the sense that they are one country. Okay, so three things can be one in one sense. Also, we have 36 states in Nigeria, 36 states, and you can use it for any other thing, but 36 states in Nigeria, but one country. Okay, so they are, you cannot say one state is Nigeria. You have to say one country. So in one sense, there are three, there are 36. In another sense, there are one. Even the entire universe. Okay, can you understand that entire universe? Sorry, wait a moment, guys. Let's see if we are still live. Make sure we are live so that we don't have any issue, guys. Are you kidding me? Okay, so you have what's it called? Wait, this thing is not moving. No way. That is why I wanted to check, guys. See, this is what I'm saying. I don't. It's not moving. It's supposed to be. Oh, did I remove it? Oh no. Now it's visible. Sorry, guys. I don't know if you have been seeing it since morning. I'm not sure if you have been doing that. Okay. I think now you can see it, right? Oh, okay. Sorry about that. So don't worry, it's still fine. Now, I was talking about how three things can be one, okay, or many things can be one. Yeah. So that's what I was talking about. So now you have something like the functional oneness. So how can three things be one? Okay, so let me just go back a little bit since you guys didn't see that. Okay. So we have, what is the Trinity? So this is what they are basically telling us. They have three persons and one being. Three persons and one being. Or in Greek, three hypostases and one usia. So the people that were talking about this doctrine in the earliest times, they were speaking Greek. Okay, so this is the language they use. Okay, and also the Latin, and also the one point is this, right? Now there are three who's and one what's. That's another way to express it. So we go to the next one. So, like I was saying, Alexi, how can three things be one? There are many ways many things can be one. It won't just be in the same sense. So you have to make a category distinction. If you want to say something is one and also many, you have to make a category difference. So, for example, I gave an example of Nigeria. We have 36 states in Nigeria. You have to say we have 36 states. There are 36 in states, but they are one in country. Okay, so you have to make that distinction. It's normal. Now, there's also numerical oneness, or the one that is talking about the identity or self. So that one is something that it is just one by definition. Okay, there's no way, it's not many, it's just one numerically. Okay, now if you look at this individual I put here, Ronaldo, right? Cristiano Ronaldo, if you know this guy. So he's in a team. In his team, is Manchester United, right? So you can say in one sense that if Manchester United, and even the name Manchester United, but let me not even use Manchester United. Let's say Chelsea, Chelsea and Arsenal, they are playing a match. If Chelsea and Arsenal they are playing a match, we can say in one sense that see, two teams are playing, okay, but are they really two? Are they not more than two? If you take one team, each team has 11 players, okay, so now you're talking about another category. So there are 11 in players but one in team. So this idea of one and many is so easy, but if you're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, one person, you cannot have him more than one. He has to be one. Okay, there's no way he can be more than one when you're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. Now uh let's go to the next slide. Make it full. No, I'm not going to make it full. Okay, so now these are the objections I have against this doctrine. So one of it is this, the logical problem of the Trinity. And by the way, I'm not the one making up these things. They're actually common. You can look them up. So the logical problem of the Trinity is this. This is what most Christians will tell you. Okay, they will tell you that see, the first statement is this, and you probably have seen this image before, right? This image is the Trinity. This is the image they used to explain the Trinity. So now the first statement is that the Father is God. So you see, the Father is here, right? The Father is God. Okay. Then the Son is God. So you have the Son is God. Okay. Then the Holy Spirit is God. So you have the Holy Spirit is God. Okay. So you have three persons that are referred to as God. Okay. So now the fourth thing is saying the Father is not the Son. So the Father is not the Son. Okay. The Father is not the Holy Spirit. Okay. The Father is not the Holy Spirit, and the Son is not the Holy Spirit. Okay. Yeah. So and the Son and the yeah. So is saying that each one of them, this fourth line is saying each one of them are different. Yet we are saying the Father is God, the Son is God, the Holy Spirit is God. If we are saying they are all different, they are not identical, then the last statement we are also saying then God is one. Okay, this is a statement talking about monotheism. So when you say God is one, you are talking about monotheism. However, you have already made distinction between three people that have been called God. Okay, you have made that distinction. So can you then say there's one God? So this is the objection. The whole point of this logical problem of Trinity is that you cannot affirm all the statements. Some of the premises have to be denied. So which one are you going to deny? Because if you want to make it coherent, if you want to say this five, if monotheism is your goal, okay, you have to say the Father is the Son. If you remove this fourth one, okay, then you replace it with you remove the not and you say the Father is the Son and the Son is the Holy Spirit and the Holy Spirit is the Father. If you say this, then it will make sense that God is one. Because this is actually what some early Christians believed in. You have people like the modalistic monarchians. The modalistic monarchians, they believe that the Father is the Son and the Son is the Holy Spirit and the Holy Spirit is just the Father. They believe this. So to them, they don't think they are different. But the modern Christians, they want to deny this, that they want to make that distinction between the persons. That's why they say there are three persons and one being. So you can see the problem right there. The modalists, they have no problem with this. They will just deny four and affirm it. But the Christians, they want to affirm all the statements, which is logically incoherent. Okay, you cannot affirm all of them. So do they have a way out? They have many ways of explaining it. So that's what we are going to discuss further. Okay. So another one is this. Another way of looking at this is this. There's something called triune. Triune means Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Okay, that is that they are united. It means they are united. Okay. Now, if you say God is triune, meaning God is just the three of them united, then if God is just three things united, then the Father cannot be God. Okay, because the Father is not triune. Okay, the Father is, if you say the Father is God and the Father is not triune and God is triune, you see the problem right there. Unless God is not triune, then what are we talking about if God is not triune? Okay, so if God is not triune, then you can say this. But if you want, you cannot affirm all of them. That's basically these arguments. You have to deny one of these. Okay. So if you deny two, you can say it. You can say God is triune and the Father is not triune. That is okay. But you cannot say God is triune and then the Father is God. It's not possible, except if the Father is triune. So you have to say the Father is triune, which is not correct. Okay. So that's another objection right there. Now let's go to another one. Let's not waste too much time. I already showed you how it's possible. This is Wazobia, and if you're from Africa, you can search it up. Wazobia just means Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. These are the three major tribes. You can see the picture right here. So it's saying that see, the Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo, right? They are a triad of tribes that are united. Okay, that is Wazobia. That is the meaning of Wazobia. Okay, now can you say Yoruba is Wazobia? Okay, can you say that? Can you say Yoruba is Wazobia? Because it's just a member of the set. You cannot say it's the entirety of the set. Okay? So Yoruba is not Wazobia. So you have to deny one of these claims. So that's another way of looking at it. So the other objection is this. From the New Testament, we know that according to them, they claim that God sent a son or God has a son. Okay? But the Son does not have any son. Okay? Or the Holy Spirit does not have a son. Then we are now saying that the Holy Spirit or the Son is God. So the P here just means any person that is not that is not the Father. Okay, only the Father has a Son. Okay, and then we already know that God has a Son. So if we are saying God is just a person that has a Son, then definitely he's not the Son and he's not the Holy Spirit, unless you can say God does not have a Son. Then you can get out of this. So you can see all these kind of inconsistencies. You can use to see them, but I'll get to the main part. But those are arguments you can use, okay? If you can understand this kind of arguments, you can present it, okay? So now, I'm making a claim that, see, the Trinity language is utterly ambiguous, okay? It's ambiguous. I don't know if it's intentional or it's just that's just the way it is. It's very ambiguous, and people don't understand what they are saying sometimes. Like, remember, the goal is monotheism, right? We are trying to preserve one God, okay? Now, these are some of the language I've heard Christians use, okay? That when you look at it, we're like, are you really saying that? Like, really, come on, guys. So, one of these is one being of God shared, okay? Remember, I said that they said they have three persons and one being, okay? So, they said this one being, they are sharing it. They are saying they are sharing this one being. Okay, so the one being of God shared. Okay, so there's something called God, they are sharing that thing. Okay, do you know what it means that you are sharing something? That means none of you possess it entirely. It is a shared something. Okay, that means you guys are not fully God. So if you have three things that are sharing one particular thing, they cannot have it fully. Only when they're together they have it. Individually, they cannot be called God. Do you see why? Do you see the implication? Okay, so three persons sharing one being or one nature. Okay, but actually it can mean it can you can use this in another way, which I will show later. Okay, because it can be a universal. You can share a universal property. For example, you have 7 billion human persons. They are sharing one humanity, so we can say they are sharing one humanity. What we mean is that there's a universal. Okay, there's something called a universal. A universal can be shared. Okay, but if it's an individual, if it's a particular essence, it cannot be shared. Okay, if it's shared, then it is partialism. If a particular essence is shared, it will be called partialism. Okay. Now, unity in diversity. Okay. And by the way, this is exactly what the Quran is denying, or monotheism is denying. That, see, God does not share his being with anybody. God does not share with anybody. Okay. Unity in diversity. You are talking about a unity of persons. When you're talking about unity of persons, you're not talking about monotheism anymore, okay? Because unity signifies there are many, okay? Many. Once you have many persons that have their own will, they have their own consciousness. Three persons, and you're talking about monotheism, is out of the door, okay? And I've heard people, popular apologists say the community of the Trinity. So when you say a community, it just shows you more and more why there are many. Okay. So stop talking about monotheism anymore, because what you guys are talking about is a community, a unity of something. Okay. When we talk about monotheism, the Jews and the Muslims, okay, we're talking about absolute oneness. Okay, one God, one person, one individual, but not in that sense. Anyway, I said I will be making that distinction because this language you guys use, so I'm just using it to explain it to you so that you understand the objections here. Okay, so because in Islam we deny it. We say, see, if you say shirk is one of the greatest sins, okay, that's why this is important in Islam. And shirk is basically associating partners with God. Any partner you associate with God, okay, and you guys are doing the highest level because you see, maybe you are associating partners with God, they can be of a lesser value. But when you make someone equal to God, that is another level, okay? So any association with God, we deny them, okay? In Islam, and it's shirk and is an unforgivable sin unless you desist from it. And that's why this is kind of talks is important, okay? Now, another thing is this, okay? So when remember that logical problem of Trinity that we were showing the other time, see, it will be much more clearer if they said it this way. Wait a moment, guys. I think I have a message. Okay, no one is commenting. Okay, no problem. Now, when they say, you see, the Father is God, the Son is God, the Holy Spirit is God, sometimes they don't really mean it that way. They just mean the Father is a God, the Son is a God, the Holy Spirit is a God. We can read it that way. Or the Father is God the Father, the Son is God the Son, and the Holy Spirit is God the Holy Spirit. Okay, you can see it's ambiguous. When they say the Father is God, they are just saying it, and it's just confusing because people don't understand. Is it three, one, two, three? Okay, because you are saying they are not the same. Okay, and then you are saying they are one. Then that is a contradiction right there. Okay, unless you start saying what you mean, and that's where we go next when you start explaining what you mean by this. Okay, okay. So sorry about that. Let's go. Now, the objection has followed them. And I just came off a Christian stream right now, and they were talking to me about this same thing that the Quran does is accusing them of tritheism. Of course, the Quran is accusing of tritheism. And by the way, it's not just Muslims. The earliest form of Christianity was not Trinitarian. Okay, you had the modalistic monarchians who were the earliest forms. You had people like Tertullian and Justin Martyr that were complaining that people were accusing them of worship having many gods. They were complaining because this objection has been there from the very beginning. Okay, now the tritheism objection or even tetratheism objection. Okay, tetra means four. It can even be four. If you understand what you mean, okay, it can lead to like four gods, and I'll show you why and how. Okay, now, so the one being, this is where the contention is. When we start talking about the one being, when we start seeing what you mean by that, that's when we know what's going on, okay? So the one being or usia or a divine nature, the being can also be is usia, okay, and is divine nature. Okay, so when you hear the term in the Nicene Creed when they say homo ousios, okay, homo ousios means same being. Okay, now, so this is what the Christians say. See, we are not saying three persons and one person, or we are not saying three beings and one being, because that would be, if we say three persons and one person, that is modalistic. If we say three beings and one being, that is just partialism, or it doesn't make sense. We are saying three persons and one being. Don't conflate the two. This is what they say. Don't make that mistake. We are saying three persons and one being. We are making that distinction. Okay. So now, the whole point of this talk is that it's not enough to say three persons and one being. Okay, because that is not. We are talking about monotheism here. You need to make sure you understand what we're saying and explain what you mean. Okay, you cannot just say three persons and one being and you think that is monotheistic. Okay, what if I say nine persons and one being? But we'll get to that later. Now let's continue. Now, this is my claim. Every person is a particular being. Okay, there's no person that is not a being. Okay, every person has his own being or his own nature. Okay, so if you're a human person, you have your human nature. Anything, and it doesn't even have to be human, it can be whatever. You see this phone right here? This phone is a particular being in the very general sense of the word. It's a particular phone, but it has its own nature. Without his nature, you cannot grasp it. Okay, it's his nature that you use to grasp it. What individuates this is this person. Okay, so the nature is the being. That person is what individuates you, what separates you from other people, what distinguishes you from other people, what your identity basically. That's your person. But your being, your usia, is what makes you that particular nature. Okay. Now the question is this: I'm asking these questions. Okay, can three persons be one person? They will say no. You can ask them. They'll say no. By the way, this is for like people that are actually educated, okay? To be very difficult explaining this to people that are not educated, but you can break it down for them too. But if you can grasp this concept, you can then break it down for anyone you meet, okay? Now, can three beings be one being? They'll say no. Can three gods be one god? They should say no too, because three gods is just polytheism, okay? How can they be one god? Okay? How about now? When they say three persons and one being, they think, yeah, it makes sense. What about 100 persons and one being? Or 1,000 persons? Or 5,000 persons and one being? Would that be monotheistic? Because if two persons and one being is monotheistic, and three persons and one being, or if three persons and one being is monotheistic, then four persons and one being has to be monotheistic, and five, and infinity. Okay? The persons don't matter, because what you are saying to us is just the one being that matters for monotheism. If what matters for monotheism is the one being, then we can have an infinite amount of persons and it'll still be monotheistic. Then what is monotheism? It's just wordplay. So you guys are trying to redefine monotheism, and the Jews and the Muslims, they disagree with you because that's not the way of Abraham. Okay, now the question that I'm going to explore here next is: are the persons separate from their being? Okay, because I already made this claim, I'm going to explain it for you guys. Okay, are the persons separate from their being? Okay, and are persons selves? Are they centers of consciousness? So do they know themselves? So did the son know that is the son? Does he know that? Does he have will? Does he have consciousness? Yes, you will say the Son has consciousness. He has his own will. The Father, does he have consciousness? Say yes, the Father has consciousness, and he has a will. The Holy Spirit also has consciousness, and he has a will. Therefore, they are selves. We can refer to them as selves. So you have three selves. If you have three selves, then things are getting clearer now. Okay, so let's continue. Now, uh, this is another claim the Christians will say. Okay, they will say the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, they are different persons, but they are not separate. This not separate means they are united necessarily. Okay, they are united, they can't be separated. So this is what they're saying. They can't be separated. They've always been like that, they will always be like that. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, different persons, but not separate. They are one being. Okay. Now, if they can say this for the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, okay, we now ask a question about what about the person and the being category? What do you say then? The person and the being category. Are the persons different? Are persons different from being? Okay. You say yes, they're different. Are they separate? Okay. See, this is the same question we're asking. If you understand this idea that the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, they are different persons, but not separate because they are one being, then the person we are even talking about, the idea of a person and being, can a person, is a person different from his being? You might say yes. Okay. But are they different? Are they separate or not? Then we'll ask that question. Now, the answer you give will determine. So if you say, for example, the person and being are different, but they are not separate, just like this, then the problem will be tritheism or partialism. Okay. And I'll explain what that means, okay, in the next place. And if you say the persons and being are different and separate, then you have all this. You can have tritheism, you can have four gods, tetratheism, you can have Arianism, okay, with this kind of idea. So we have this ambiguity, okay, disambiguate. That's the word, right? We have disambiguated the whole thing now. Once we know what we're talking about, the person and the being that you're trying to. So most people will want to hide behind the person and the being category, but they don't actually know the entailments. What does that even mean? Do you know the meaning? If you don't know the meaning, then you're just asserting something that you don't know. Okay, now let's go to the next part where we'll show it visually. Okay, now this is the first case. You have the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, right? This place you start getting it now. The Father generates the Son, okay, and then Holy Spirit, or if you believe in filioque, but whatever. You have the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit that are distinct. They are not the same, so they are separate from themselves. They are no, they are different persons, but one being. So this one being, is this something that is connected to each of the persons? Okay, is it connected to them? Because this one being is the divine nature. Okay, because the being is also nature. Okay, so this is the divine nature. Does the Father have the full divine nature? If he has the full divine nature, then the Son and the Holy Spirit cannot have it. Okay, unless it's a universal. Okay, if it's a universal, then they can all have it. But how will they have it? That means the Father will have the full divine nature. The Son will have the full divine nature. The Holy Spirit will have the full divine nature. We have three things that three. I don't know why this thing is reloading every time, but sorry about that, guys. Uh, so I asked this question: a person and a being. The person and the being, are they different? You say they are different, but are they separate? That is the whole point. If they are not separate, that means each person is a being. So, for example, look at it like this: you're a human person and you're a human being. Where is your being? Like, where is my human being? Where is my being? Is it not in me? My being cannot be separated from me. Like, you cannot separate the being and the person. Okay? Because without the being, there's no person. And then the other way around can be, we can ask that question. Okay? But the most fundamental thing is the being. Okay? The persons are the ones that individuates the being, such that I'm a human person and I'm a human being. Okay? Do I have full human nature? Yes, I have full human nature. Okay? I'm fully human and I'm fully myself. Okay? You are also fully human and you are fully yourself. Your being is you have it fully. I have my own being fully too. That's why we have 7 billion human beings and not one human being. Okay, we have 7 billion human beings because each individual possess what it takes to be human being. That's what it means to have a nature. Now, if the Father possesses full divine nature, and the Son possesses full divine nature, and the Holy Spirit possesses full divine nature, and they are different from each other, you have three gods. So that is the first case. Okay, you have three gods in any which way. Now, if you want to say that they are sharing it, that language of sharing, that means all of them they are just sharing the same nature. If they are sharing the same nature, then you're going to have some kind of partialism. Okay, but partialism is not even the word for it. It will be some kind of how will I say? None of them will be fully divine. Okay, none of them will be fully divine because they are only taking a part of it. Okay, if they are only taking a part of it, because if they are just all of them will just be in the same category, such that the only God will be Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. It cannot be in any individual, any one of them. It has to be the entirety of the thing. So you see the problem? Okay. Now the other one is this: if you say the being is separate from the persons, and I told you that if the being is separate from the persons and also different from the persons, now you have three persons. Do they we cannot ask that question. Do they have their own nature? Do they have a nature? Okay. If they don't have nature, they cannot be persons. That is the definition. You see, for any person, they have to have a being. What makes them persons? Okay. They have to have a nature. So the Father needs a nature. What is his nature? Is his nature not the divine nature? You see, even if you say they are separate, the consequence will be that this nature is now real. It's somewhere in the realm, like it's actually much more fundamental than the persons. Such that now you have four things now. Okay, that will be the consequence. You can have four. Or if you say that this what's it called? This being is an abstract. Okay, it's something that is abstract and for some reason is in each one of them, then still the problem applies. See, the whole point is this: even if they are separate, the being is separate and is different, then we know that the Father is the God. Okay, if the Father is God, that means He has the being for some reason. So He has His nature. As long as you can affirm that the Father has full divine nature, then the discussion is over. And the Son has full divine nature, and the Holy Spirit has full divine nature. Therefore, you have three things or three persons that have full divine nature. You have three gods. So there is no way in all of this that you can have one. Okay. The reason why I went through all of this is because I've gone to like look at the language that they're using. What does it mean? The people of that time, what were they thinking about? Okay, that is why I'm bringing this objection. If you're not familiar with this, I'll give you a simpler explanation in the end. But this Usia and person hypostasis and all of that is a common argument in philosophy. So you have people like at that time, most of all those people they are Platonists, okay, Neoplatonists or Platonists, and they believe in such this kind of idea about the universals and the particular. The universal is the being, the particular is the persons. You can use it like that. And if you can read papers on this, you understand this at least to some level of the distinction between the universal and the particular. And any position you take, there will never be a position where there will be one. As long as you have three persons, they can never be one in the sense of monotheism anymore, unless you redefine monotheism. So that is the whole point of this presentation. And if you stick to this channel, I'm going to show you actually more examples of what you can use to explain some of these things. Okay, I'll give you more. This one might be a little bit complex, but it's okay because that's what they've done. They've created our biggest ideology, and we'll break it down. We can go and do the study and get it for you guys. Don't worry. So stay tuned to this channel, and I'm going to be reviewing more things and giving you some more reviews and showing you like live. I will like react to some videos and show you the problems and the weakness in the assertions that some of these even popular pastors or apologies they make. They don't even realize that what they're actually saying is wrong. Okay, now, so in conclusion, we have seen that generally is very ambiguous. The idea of monotheism needs to be preserved, and the Muslims we need to keep on emphasizing on this monotheism and Tawheed. We need to make sure we let them know that this is our line. This is where we draw the line, because that's shirk right there. Shirk is the only sin in Islam that if you die upon this, you will not be forgiven. So I'm appealing to, not appeal, but I'm calling you guys, the Christians, to think about this doctrine. If you don't understand it, it's probably what you think it is. Probably three gods. If they've told you like it's not three gods and they've given you three persons and one being, tell them to explain what they mean by that. Okay? If they cannot give you a clear explanation, if it looks like a dog, quacks like a dog, it's probably a dog. Okay? Now, there was also possible logical problem that comes with it, and I've also shown that you can go back and review that, and also possible tritheism. I'm using possible because I know they have many ways of explaining it, but the whole point I'm trying to say is that any which way, at the end of the day, it comes down to something. You can never make it monotheistic like the Muslims. So the Muslims, they believe in one consciousness, one self aware being, one God in that very sense of the word, not a unity of God, not a community. We are not talking about quality, we are not talking about functional oneness. We are talking about one particular individual, but individual, okay? One particular, if I ask you who, remember they said there are three who's and one what. If I ask you who is your God, you guys have to say, you are saying, who is my God? I have three who's in my God doctrine. Because in the Trinity, you have three who's, right? If you ask a Muslim, who is your God? You say Allah. See, one who. You guys have three who's. We have one who. See? So I just wanted to clarify that. So I pray that Allah make it easy for us. I think that's the end of the slide. So thank you guys for listening. And inshallah, I'll be bringing more content for you guys. So I hope you benefited from that. So may Allah accept it from us. And yeah, so I'm going to be using this kind of platform or this kind of stuff more in the future. I forgot to roll in. So you see, guys, I'm just learning. Okay, I'm supposed to be rolling some kind of stuff while I'm doing this, but it's all fine. Okay, so at least I've gotten that off my chest. I've been thinking about how I'm going to like present this, and then next video I'll start like reacting to some uh I will start interacting with some other content. So thank you guys for listening, and share this with your friends and share this with some people. You know, there are some people that are serious and educated. Okay, share it with them. And if you have people that are not educated too, you can break it down for them. And I don't mean it in any way, but sometimes it can seem like it's complex. Okay, but it's understandable. So guys, let's end the broadcast, guys. So with this, do I have anything to show anymore? Do I have anything I can display? Hmm? So, guys, with this, we end it, guys. So, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thanks.